you willing? There it is. Can you walk over to the center? Whoa. Did you just see that?
I got that, yeah.
Porch. On the porch. Is that where you're at? Whoa, shit. The door's moving. Holy shit. Oh. Cool. So you want to move that up there? Yeah. Wow. Hey, did you shoot? Yeah. It's me. It's perfect. Yeah. What was that? Are we talking about something negative? Oh! Wildly. Oh my God, just moved. What is that? What is that? What is that? Hear that? Oh, did somebody just... The shovel, right? Can you finish this knock for us? Oh my God. Oh my God.
And that was awesome. So you know these guys. You love these guys. We all love these guys. So it's Cody and Sean of The New Reality.
What's up, guys?
How we doing?
So, guys, that was a trailer for like all your compiled stuff, because a lot of those clips I recognize and seen before, and a lot of them were intense. Like my favorite's the one where Cody gets zapped.
Yes, that happens quite a bit. Yes,
you get electrocuted a lot. Yeah. So kind of what we're doing with all the interviews, you guys have kind of seen some of them earlier. So tell me about you.
Well, that's kind of why we did this trailer, is we kind of wanted to show people what we've done and so far, you know,
right.
and that's nowhere near all the clips that we've got, but it's basically just a compiled list of all the amazing evidence that we've caught.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. There's been a lot.
No, I think they're between the both of us. I think we bring something to a location. If there's any possible hauntings, they make it known, right?
Oh, 100%.
They're not afraid to show themselves or make their, you can hear, we get a lot of audible stuff. We get a lot of disembodied voices. We get a lot of, last night was a perfect example. We get a lot of recordings with people responding directly. It's fun because this is kind of an event that people get a chance to see.
Oh yeah,
what we're about.
They get to see you guys operate in person, and
right.
they get to see those. They get to experience those things like that they've seen you guys do on camera. They've seen happen to you on camera. They get to see that in person,
yeah,
which is a very unique experience. And you guys have been at this for for a while. You guys have been into the paranormal for a while, and you guys have been at this for a long time. So, like, tell me what your favorite location has been so far.
You know, Jade said it earlier, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me, but the Garnett House is absolutely insane.
Is it off the
And
hook?
No place has come close. Like, we've been to, you know, Penhurst, we've been to.
Oh, yeah, you've been to
Waverly,
crazy
We've been
places,
we've been all over the place.
Yeah.
And nothing comes close to that.
That place was beyond active.
Yeah.
To have 3 times we do the shave and a haircut. Actually, it was 4, and respond right after we knock.
Right, immediately.
Yeah. And then the ball being thrown at you. What they did, what we didn't have on the video was there was a ball up in the attic. And I walked in trying to get, because he had his experience, that the ball came out of the closet and hit him pretty much. And that was known for that location. There was a ball in the attic. And as I walked in, I was trying to get that ball to come out of the closet. And the ball fell from the attic and hit me right in the chest.
Oh, really?
That was on the video because we didn't, you caught me going, oh my God. You
like
know,
you jumping and reacting to it. Yeah.
I was like, what the frick is that? That was a really crazy location.
Well, what I like about it is it's not really known. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not a location that, like you said, people have heard of Waverly, people have heard of Penhurst.
Right.
Like, it's not one that's like high on the radar.
No. And the amount of activity, like, it just was nonstop.
Yeah.
So.
No.
Do you guys find that that's the case, really? Like, where it's the lesser known, like, under the radar places that are more active? Because are the bigger places too exploited?
You know, Sean has a theory on that, but I have my own theory too. I think people hype it up.
Yeah.
I think people hype it up and they're just excited. They want to be there and they hype things up, but it's, I mean, the farmhouse is a prime example.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like house in the middle of nowhere.
it's a house in the middle of nowhere. It's abandoned and it's off the hook.
Oh, it's constant. You guys just, the moment you guys step in there, like stuff starts happening and it starts happening like that.
Yeah. So I think there's a level of, you know, when a person goes into a place that every creak, every little noise is paranormal. And we really go in with skeptic minds. Yeah, we both have abilities. We both have gifts. We both have an understanding. But we go in as skeptics. And I mean, people are, you know, why don't you guys go in? Because we're both, you know, I'm a medium. Cody's very intuitive, borderline medium. And why don't you just say what's there? Well, that's not how we work. We go in and we're trying to prove and disprove with the equipment we have, and to prove more often than not that there is paranormal going on.
Right.
So, and I've seen that too, where you guys will debunk. You guys actively debunk while you're investigating, because that's part of your technique. That's part of what you do, is that you go in and you're like, okay, well, the K2 meter's going off. Okay, well, why is that? Like, let's see, like, let's go check and see if there's any like electrical sources that would be causing that. Like, and you guys always try to do that.
No,
first.
you have to debunk. Yeah. I even get mad at Sean sometimes of how skeptic he is. I'm like, bro, we're trying to make a video here. You got to make a video, and you're like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Chill. I got to edit that out.
Like, and cut that.
Well, you had an experience with us. You went
I
out to Cabin in the Sky.
Cabin in the Sky here in Virginia City, and that was wild, which was in the trailer.
Yeah.
You were not yourself for like a good minute.
Yeah.
Like it was nuts. Because you went out to where the bar area was, and I could see you weren't there. You weren't there.
Yeah.
Like I saw your eyes, and you were just.
Well, there's 10 minutes that I don't remember.
You don't remember because I think you came to like outside. Sean had gone outside. You guys both went outside, and that's when you kind of came back to yourself, and you realized you were like, I don't remember anything that happened from the moment like the chair, like part of the chair, and you were just like, because you were gone. You were gone. Like you were gone.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Oh, I think we have an entity that follows us around. His name, we call him the preacher. I've seen him with my eye. He reminds me of the poltergeist preacher.
Oh, the creepy guy.
Has the hat. He's very dark. I don't like to call anything demonic because that's very narrow.
It's overdone.
It's also giving it too much power too.
Yeah.
100%. But
But it really likes to show up at a lot of different places and really seems to spoof up the activity as well.
Do you think it attached to you at some point, like from a location specifically, and now he just follows you around?
Yeah, I think we first seen him at a place called, well, we call it on our YouTube, Victorville Warehouse. It's actually my dad's work, but
Do you know any history behind him specifically?
Behind the preacher, no. The place, it used to be an old grocery store, and then it used to also be a holding cell. Not a jail, but a holding cell.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think it knows what we're about, and we're. I think a lot of people go into the paranormal field yeah, there's a lot of looking and searching and understanding. And
Yeah.
obviously most people that are in it have this ability, right? There's an intuitiveness.
Right.
They're searching, right?
Mhm.
Some are in it for entertainment. We're not in it for
You're not
entertainment.
that, yeah.
That's the byproduct of.
Yeah.
We are trying our best to understand it. And obviously hauntings are different. Everyone is
100%.
different. So, yeah.
I like honestly, like I said, yeah, it's like the entertainment's just kind of like comes secondary. Like
Right.
you guys are trying to get the evidence first. The entertainment and the scares come along with that.
Absolutely.
But it's not primarily what you're looking for. So I'm sure that you've gone to locations where you've had nothing happen.
Yeah.
We have, but I know it's very
But it's
rare.
rare.
It is rare.
Yeah.
They do, like Sean said, they do like to talk.
Mhm.
And I think we just have a voice for them.
Mhm.
And there was a point actually this weekend at PEX, and we were at Mackey Mansion,
Mhm.
and it was very clear they weren't happy. They were tired of dealing with people. So
Mhm.
there was a point where they wanted us to leave.
Right, they were
And-
tired. Like the spirits get tired. I do think
Yeah.
at points where they're like especially if they've had like tours go through, and people in groups go through, they just get. I think they do get tired.
Just like
at
us,
points.
they get
Where they're
drained,
like,
we get
okay,
drained.
we're good.
Yeah.
Like stop. Can
Time
we
to
leave
go.
now? Time to time to
Yes.
leave.
And so we found, we were caught up in it. And we were like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're getting all this awesome
Yeah.
evidence that everybody gets a chance to see it. And so then there was a point where we're going, these are human beings. And we go in and getting to my point. It's about respecting, just like you would respect a person, your friend or your colleagues or whatever it is. You respect that entity and go, okay, it's time to leave.
Yeah, they're getting cranky. They're getting tired. They're at their end of their
Yeah.
rope, and it's
Right.
time to
Yeah.
Um,
But maybe that's why they really talk to us. They understand what we're about.
And because I think they know you guys listen.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. Is I think a lot of places when people go, they just try to get them to do parlor tricks.
Right.
Like it's a performing pony or something like that, or like a dog in a circus, where it's like, oh, stand on the ball and like balance this on your nose, and it's like a lot of places continue to treat them like that. But you guys actually listen to say like, okay, hey, they're tired. Like it's you're actually hearing what they're saying and their feelings and their process.
Well, I mean, the goal is to find out what the story's about, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Why are you still here? The goal is to find out what the story is about. And I think they understand that we're asking these questions. And again, intuitively, we're picking up on what's going on with these individuals. And we ask the right question, right? Well, what's going on? Why are you still here? Did something trauma happened to you? So it's really just finding out what the story is about.
Do you guys find that like when you do that, when you open up to listen to them, that then when you find out later the history of the place, the things kind of line up?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So especially sometimes Cody, he'll research or he has people contacting the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Cody finds out the story, and I kind of stay in the background. I
Right.
don't really want to know what the story is and a lot of times we ask the individuals that have are inviting us, especially private cases.
Right, for private cases.
Yeah. We do want to create the story and then come back later and find out the history.
Right. Kind of compare the two.
And they line up.
Well, that's something like I want to touch on too, is the private cases is kind of more so what we're stepping into.
Mhm.
We've done private cases since we began.
Yeah.
But now I don't want to use the word exploit, but we're putting that on YouTube now, putting that on Paraflix, and we're showing a different aspect of investigating,
Yeah. That's a whole different beast.
It is.
Right.
100%.
Doing the private stuff.
You have, not only do you have to take account like the spirits' feelings, but
Right.
also the owners and what they like, what they
Right.
don't like. How are they, how's their emotion towards the haunting?
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
And what I like the most is some of these people that are fans of the new reality,
Mhm.
and they see the private cases and they're having issues. They see, again, we go back into the location with respect, right?
Yeah.
We know these are people's homes, they're having problems, and again, try to figure out what the story is. Why is this entity here?
Right.
And what brought it? And again, you see the changes that happen, and
Right.
and we're able to. We actually clear as well. We both have an
Yeah.
ability to clear.
Yeah.
We clear the location.
And so that's a whole, that's a whole different thing. Like do you find that a lot of them, because I've heard this from other investigators, that when they go to the private things, you have to be a little bit more, you have to have like almost like a little bit more of a skeptic on, because sometimes it can be.
How many times have we went to a location where the
Where they-
owner themselves,
They swear there's something there and you're like,
no, they self-create it.
Yeah.
and it's
They
self-created.
self-create.
Yeah.
100%.
It's manifested by
Yeah.
themselves.
Yep, which we call poltergeists, right? So if you've got a person that has an ability and is holding that down and doesn't trust and believe in it, Next thing you know, they've got things moving, they got knocking, they've got losing stuff, and that's normally because they have a strong ability and they're just ignoring it.
And they're just like, and like you said, they're just kind of bringing this energy around themselves.
Or they attract energies from outside to come in.
Right.
But we've also done on the other end of the spectrum, people are just batshit crazy. I'm sorry.
There's like sometimes they're just that where they're just like they think there's something there, and you're like,
I remember really in our days, we weren't even the new reality at that point. We were working with a team called Para, and we walked into this place, and this woman was out of her mind. She was out of her mind, and she was creating a poltergeist activity. She was there's locations in her house where she would have different emotions, and she was leaving imprints through the house.
Just where along the way. So like on that, like basically kind of like on that with like people like. And they may not realize, obviously, they don't probably realize that they're doing it, that they're propagating things like that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk to you guys about like integrity, because you guys have very high integrity standards as far as like your investigations. You don't, like if something like that is like, you're obviously not going to put that on there if you're like, hey, this person's like really like doing something, or if the person is falsely putting something out where they're like, hey, there's totally a ghost here. So like, do you think, and like I said, honestly, on the professional side of things, if somebody has been caught as an investigator, if they've been caught doing that, do you think that's something they can come back from?
No. And what's really troublesome about that is there's a lot of people out there that are I'll call it studying and researching that really take this seriously. And it's unfortunate that people go and fake things for money, or
entertainment value or whatever.
Right. Which gives the people that are really in it for the right reasons a bad name. It's hard for everybody else to do something.
Amen.
I mean, and I've said this from the beginning. I'm going to keep saying it. Shout out to Crow, shout out to the Shape, shout out to everybody who's debunking and trying to debunk. And I will say this: please debunk me.
Yeah, please.
Because if you do, I would like to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because maybe I'm missing something.
Right. Because it's like, it keeps people honest. It keeps everybody on their toes. And it keeps like one of those things where it's like, where you may not realize it's something like, where it's like you coughed or sneezed or something like that. And you don't remember doing it. Because a lot of times you're like in your space in investigation, and you don't remember if you shuffled or kicked something or something like that, where it's like, and then you think you catch it later and you're like, oh man, that was a thing. And then they're like, oh no, you moved and you stepped here. You're like, oh, okay, well, thank you. Like that,
Yeah. I mean, we've done it. I've done it where we've caught phenomenal EVPs, and I'm like, bro, that's an EVP. But we're so engulfed in the investigation. I go back and post. I'm like, oh, that was me. That was
me. I heard me.
So often, more often than not, we'll call each other and go bounce these ideas and going, we can't say that's paranormal. There's too many ways to explain it, right? So we don't call it that. We just say, okay, it's. We'll let the fans decide, but a lot of times if we don't think it is, we won't post it.
You won't include it. So at this point, we're going to open. We have like a little bit longer because I think the one that was supposed to be after you actually was not able to come. So you guys have a little bit longer window, so we can run over a little bit. It's fine. Does anyone have any questions for Sean and Cody? Not everybody at once.
We just starstruck. I see the same hands.
So I think there's a lot of between Cody and I think we do have everyday jobs. We work hard, and we want to be able to do this for a living. It's hard, but our goal is to really do this. And every waking moment we have spare, this is what we do. Right. Because we have a strong passion about it. We take this very seriously. Is that Crow in there?
It's Crow.
That is.
What's up, Crow?
Matt has a question.
So what was your defining moment? What made you decide to become an investigator? What was that moment?
Well, your first investigation when you called me that night.
Yeah, I guess I've always been, since I was 16, that's a whole other story, but I had my own personal experience that got me interested in the paranormal, but not to become an investigator. When it wasn't until many years later where I went on a site called Meetup, and there was like a paranormal investigation. I'm like, cool, that sounds dope.
You're like, that sounds
fun. So I went to Pasadena Playhouse. It's a place called Pasadena Playhouse in California. And we went on an investigation. I've never been on one before, and it was just amazing. Called him up that night. I said, we got to do it.
That's what we're
doing.
We got
to do it.
I went on my first one with him, and I was interested in paranormal ghosts when I was in first grade.
Right.
I think I was already a medium. I just didn't understand it.
Right.
And there was something about the other side of the world or the other side of the veil that I already understood before I understood it.
Before you could put words.
Yeah, I think it was already a part of who I was. But that day that we went together the first time, we were hooked.
Yeah.
It was 100% who we were and what we were about.
Joe has a question.
Any investigation that has had a personal impact on you guys?
The Cabin in the Sky, the preacher episode. For me personally, yeah.
Mine was Victorville Cemetery when I got a demonic attachment. That affected me for 3 months. And I know to this day that it was something I had to have happen to me. So, because I find myself at the highest level of divine with what I do. And I had to find out what the lowest part of the darkness was. So when you have to have, there's a balance, my belief is. So when you're at the highest, you also need to know that there's the darkest. And I had that experience. I was borderline being possessed. It just so happened somebody that would never ever contact me, which was a psychic medium's friend, girlfriend, contacted me out of the blue. I think I was right at that point, and she asked me, "How you doing?" And I was like, I started telling her what it was, and her man called me up that day and told me that you're in a bad place right now.
Yeah.
And that was when I actually met my guides, and that was angelic. And that was my defining moment for sure.
I think Mandy had a question.
Yeah, Sean, what was your experience like finding out that you're a medium? Like, how did that look for you?
So it's been a process. I think owning it was really difficult because that's called surrender, right? When you finally just go, okay, I'm a medium. I think the moment I knew that was I've done a lot of workshops, and I worked with a woman named Lisa Williams, and she's a very well-known medium. I think when she said to me at the end of the second class, she looked at me and she goes, "You're an amazing medium, and I should be platform." I thought at that point I was like, I need to own this. I came home and Cody was picking me up from the airport, and I said, "Bro, I'm a medium. I'm gonna own it." That was the moment I decided.
Janine?
So do you think your spiritual beliefs make you better investigators?
Better?
Or enhances your investigation?
Yeah. I think it enhances for sure, just because we pay attention, and I think they know that we know that they know.
Yeah.
That we can listen and we can kind of figure out what's going on that way. For sure.
I think it was really fun is we did a seance with Patty Nigri and this everybody in PEX that's involved in this off the charts.
I heard it was nuts. Because
Oh,
I had
good
to keep running in and out, so I didn't get to see a lot of it.
Ghost Box is clear as day, said Dare.
Which is my last name.
And I picked up very clearly a father that had lost part of his leg. And he said to me, Vietnam War. And I didn't say it out loud because that's really surrender. I mean,
Right.
I still question myself sometimes. And when he rose his hand and said he lost it in the Vietnam War, I was like,
You're like,
my jaw.
right,
I was
right.
like, all right.
Crow wants to know how you guys feel about guacamole.
I love it.
Bro, why don't you
Love it.
actually come to these events?
You can ask these
You
questions
can wear
in
the
person.
mask, dude.
You can ask these questions, these deep-seated questions in person. Deep,
For
important
the avocado.
need to know, right? Does anyone else have any questions for Sean and Cody? Chris?
Yeah, sure. So I had the pleasure of meeting you guys in person recently, this weekend, and actually investigating for the first time this weekend. I come from sort of a science background. You're both familiar. So I wanted to kind of ask, what is the role that skeptics, or more specifically debunkers, like how do they influence your investigation, your experience, your growth as investigators? Because I feel like the investigative, what I felt yesterday is like the investigative process it starts out objectively, but it can become very subjective very quickly once you get into it. And maybe having debunkers on the outside sort of grounding your experience a little bit. Is that a fair assessment?
No, absolutely. I think there's a difference between debunkers and idiots. Like I was pointing, you know, there's people who have that scientific background, or people who are actually stepping outside of themselves to figure out what's going on. I think I don't really they don't sway my investigation at all, because I know spirits exist. I know ghosts exist.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can sway me because what I've
Right.
seen, you know.
Right.
But I dig people's outside perspective, if you will.
I honestly think, and I think that we do use that tool is when we go into a location and when we debunk. So I think we go deeper into the debunking to really validate what it is, right? So I think we, again, are going as skeptics and, okay, so what can it be? So I think in a mindset, we're skeptics already. We go in, okay, well, that could have been this or this or that. We don't go in thinking that everything's paranormal. But there's a point where people they can believe or not believe. You
gotta
can
separate the wheat from the chaff. Though.
Right.
You know, some stuff is just a breeze.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can just believe that there's nothing real and it's all fake. And you can create a story that says it's not real. Anybody can do that.
Mhm.
There's got to be a point where you decide there's something on the other side, and yeah, that's real, or everything's not real. Right? It's all fake.
It looks like we kind of covered this already, but I did see a question pop up in the chat. What's your feeling on people who fake for views?
Trash.
That's
That's an easy one.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because
It makes it your guys' job harder,
No, it is.
which
It
is the
does.
worst part of it.
Well, here's the thing. It's 2022 now, and we have, you know, amazing editors here in, you know,
Yeah.
watching us. You can pretty much create anything in post.
Absolutely.
Anything you want.
Absolutely.
It's really not hard. So it makes our job harder to
Yes.
prove.
Yeah, because yes, the technology has become so far advanced that
Yeah.
because like I said, with the editing software and like, you know, green screen and things like
Yeah,
that, and like movie making, it's like basically some people just get into this for like movie making at some point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, so then it's just like you said, kind of separated from the chat, and it's like, okay, well, what do you have to at some point look at things with objective eyes, and like, so I've been with you guys. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
I've been there.
So you want to know real? Then come to PEX.
Then go
and have an investigation
and come investigate,
with us.
because I can guarantee you what we saw at Cabin in the Sky, that was nuts. I cannot explain.
Well, not only you were there, but Levy from
Levy
Chasing the
was there.
Darkness, who will be on later, he saw it too. It
And
affected
it
him as
happened
well.
to
He had an effect on him as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
like he's like, I don't want to go back there.
Okay. Levy from Chasing the Darkness is a huge man, and to see a man to like not have any control of what's going on with him,
Yeah.
and looking in his eyes and knowing it's not him, it'll change your life. You'll be like, there's something going on here that's not
Because
understand.
you
We're trying to
can't
understand
explain.
it.
Yeah.
Where do you think we're going from here? I've seen plenty of evidence that is obvious that there's paranormal things happening. What do you think is the next level? I mean, what's the goal beyond capturing evidence? Where do you think we're going with what we captured?
Me personally, I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know what it is. I know it's there, but at the end of the day, nobody knows what is going on because we're not there.
So my theory is we're evolving as human beings, and I think that the old ways are not holding up anymore. I think we're understanding that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And to understand that and understand that we are having an experience to grow and learn and be a bigger spirit, if you will, or be more intelligent spirit. I think that we're here to have an experience and to grow. And I think that a lot more people are waking up to understand that. I think that's why we're here. We're growing. And we're forever. We're energy.
I was going to ask, when Levy had his experience, was one of the first things that went through your mind was, shit.
I'll tell you what. Levy said, and you guys have to watch the video. He still doesn't think he said it, but Levy said Cody's a piece of shit, and I'm all, what? and I'm like, wait a minute. Levy's a big dude. I mean, I'm down to scrap, but Levy's a big dude.
Yeah, he's like,
I knew right away when I saw his eyes that it wasn't him.
okay,
And I knew exactly it was what had taken over Cody.
Yeah.
And I just went into I let whatever was inside me do what it needed to do. And I went over to the levee and did what I needed to do to clear them. And I won't say it was me, but what guides me, right? So I went over and did what I could, or did what they told me to do, and cleared them from wherever it was.
Yeah, but you could definitely see that too. It was the same. It was the same.
Yeah,
look.
it was
Same
the
look you
gloss.
had. It was just the gloss was like it
Yeah.
was like schoolhouse, nothing here.
Yeah.
It was like
Mhm.
lights were on, but nobody was.
Yeah.
He was not home. It was wild.
That was a crazy experience.
I just want to say I appreciate what you guys do. I've learned a lot from you, and I give you guys crap all the time. And I appreciate you being there when I had a bad moment and you pulled me out. Thank God for Sean. I'm just saying you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
you.
Appreciate that.
you.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'm just trying to check the chat and I cannot see.
No, you're good.
Does anyone else have any questions for Sean and Cody? So you guys are investigating tonight at Silver Queen Chapel, I
Yes.
believe. I was like, I'm trying to remember my.
Believe you so alive.
Yes.
Yeah. So
We've actually never investigated the chapel.
okay. Yeah, the chapel's it's an interesting space. We kind of went and looked at it yesterday.
Okay.
So it's definitely an interesting space. It's got a little bit of a little vibe to it. It's got a little bit of a
Lovely.
little. So I think you guys being who you are
Right.
will definitely bring that vibe out to the
Perfect.
forefront because
Exciting.
it's right. The entrance to the chapel is right next to the Silver Queen herself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I think that's gonna. There's something in it for sure.
Okay.
Like,
Right on.
Exciting.
So we'll give the wrap up. Tell us where you can find your guys' stuff. Anything you want to promote before we end.
Yes. So the newreality11.com will have everything that you guys need to find about us. We are revamping our merch. We took our merch off. We do have merch here with us. If you guys want merch, come to us. Come to
It's
Sean or I.
limited.
It's limited. So whatever we have, we have.
Okay.
I do want to put out. We do have a book as well.
Yes, they do.
It's a book on the farmhouse. You can find that on Amazon. I do have copies with us. We have probably about 4 or 5 with us right now. So
Very good book. It was well written. So you guys get a chance to kind of see what we're doing, but this gives you a feel of what we're feeling when it's out. It's
Right.
very well written.
Right. And, then,
as far as what's coming, more private investigations for sure.
and those will be on YouTube.
Yes, those will be on
Okay.
YouTube. We still are on Paraflix. We kind of had we needed to step away
Yeah.
from everything so we had about a 2-3 month hiatus, but we're back now. So Yeah.
We're working our
yeah,
off and our everyday lives, our jobs.
Yeah.
And again, we love this and we put all our time and effort into this.
Well, I love investigating with you guys. It's super fun.
thank you.
Thank you
Hey,
guys so much for being here.
If you want a reading, also the
Sean does
new
readings.
reality11.com.
Yes.
Yep.
So book your reading with Sean if you would like a reading.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
guys. We'll be back in a little bit.